Okay, hello YouTube. This is my review on my Victorinox SwissTool. This is the original version. So if you just Google SwissTool original, it will show you everything on it. I've had this for I had it since last January, so that's about a year and 3 months, about 15 months. And I hear a lot of people saying that they use these tools a lot and it gets bashed. This one really does. I use this all the time at work, as you can see. But it's still, I mean, you can polish the fingerprints off, but I rarely see the point in doing that. So I'm just going to run you through all the tools on there, and then at the end I'm going to just put a few clips of it being used for certain tasks so you can see what it's good for. So yeah, you get this SwissTool, and the one I got came with this leather pouch, which at first I really liked because it's a really snug little fit, decent sized belt loop, so you can fit that on your PLCE webbing belts and stuff if you want at a push. But obviously this just goes on a normal leather belt at work. I really liked that at first. It's pretty solid, but now this crappy Velcro has started to deteriorate pretty badly. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shit caught, a lot of crap caught in there, but it's useless. Look, it's not even gripping on anymore, and I knew that would be a problem as soon as I got it. It's nothing like the Maxpedition Velcro or anything like that. It's rubbish. It should really have come with a pop stud, but then, as everyone knows, they go over time as well. So this case now is, obviously it's still used. The leather's holding up all right, but it was good for the first 6 months. Now that Velcro is just ruined, so I'm thinking about getting one of those Maxpedition pistol magazine sheaths for it, but they look a bit bulky on the belt, so I'm not sure, but I think I'll get one and see what it's like. So yeah, first thing you have is your pliers that have some cutters in there. Now, I've seen someone on YouTube cut a nail with them. I'm not going to do that because I still want to use them and I don't want them to get all dented. And somewhere there's supposed to be some electrical crimpers on here, but being as I use proper electrical crimpers at work, I'm not sure what the hell they mean by that, where they're supposed to be. But I would not be crimping electrical connections with anything on this tool. The pliers are really good though. I tend to at work now, because they're on my belt, I tend to use these more than my actual insulated pliers, just for general tasks. I mean, the needle noses are really good on them. They line up nicely. Obviously you have this little gap here because they're supposed to line up being gripped on something. Then you've got like the nut wrench type ones there. You can see there's a lot of dirt in it because I use it a lot. But yeah, they're just solid. Everything on here, the actions of this, solid. And that's what I've always liked, Swiss Army knives, so that's what led me to buy this one over a Leatherman or anything like that. Well, I'm not knocking them because I've not tried them, so I have no idea, but just the noises, you know, it's solid. It really is solid. I mean, I've dropped it, done, you know, hit things with it. It gets used a lot at work. And then on the outside you've got, if you fold it out like this, you can turn it into a centimetre ruler, and I have used this at a push. Obviously I've got a tape measure, but if I've been up a set of ladders and I wanted to measure, the other day I was up a set of ladders and I needed to measure something for wholesalers I was on the phone to, whack this out, measure the light I was working on, use that. Sorry, that's centimetres that side, that's inches the other side. So you got both possibilities. So yeah, then you fold it back up. On the outside here you've got some of these which you can put, I think, the little wrenches and stuff in. I've never used them. You know, like the toothpicks and stuff, I think can go in there. I didn't bother getting the set with the wrench set because, oh no, sorry, the wrench set doesn't actually connect onto here at all, into here. I think you can just put the little screw, corkscrew and stuff like that, which I haven't got with it. The wrench set was a completely separate tool, so I thought, well, there's no point in getting that because it's not actually anything to do with this. And so if I wanted to use a wrench, I'd use a wrench. Right then, so starting from this side, you've got the knife. You could have got this with a that's what I actually struggled to do, was get this with this blade. You have to find it with this original Swiss Army knife style blade on it, which I really like, and obviously they sharpen really well, as anybody knows, because it's this soft steel. But the one that they sell most of is this weird clip point one or something that comes down. I didn't like, no, butter knife, that's it, the butter knife. I didn't like this, is the clip point. I didn't like that at all. I wanted this original one. So you have to search, and you have to make sure when you order it that it does come with that blade and not that stupid butter knife thing. So yeah, there's that standard blade, excellent, gets used all the time for various tasks. And then in here is the pry bar, which is solid, as you can see, really nice and thick. That gets used a lot for a lot of things. I mean, obviously you can use it for paint tins, things like that, but because it's so solid you can also pry bits of wood off of things, stuff like that. Then you've got this, which has a little chisel on here. I've got to be honest, I haven't used that much. I use it in one of the demonstrations of it, and yeah, I mean, you could use that in the woods. I was going to take this to the woods and do some demonstrations, bushcrafty ones today, but it's peeing down with rain, so that's not going to happen. Then it's got these in here, which are advertised as wire cutters, wire strippers. I'd never use them personally, and I tried to use them in the demo and they fail pretty miserably. If you're going to use wire strippers, if you need to strip some wires with these, then the best thing is just to ring around it with that and pull the wire off, for me personally. So yeah, I suppose this tool here doesn't get much use, but I'm sure I have used it for something in the past, and it's always handy to have a little chisel should you need it. Bottle opener, also with probably a medium flathead on there. That gets used a lot. Tin opener, excellent Victorinox tin opener, exactly the same as the one on the pen knives. Really good. Wood saw, excellent. That has been used in the woods a lot, and I also use this at work for other things. Like I was cutting a piece of paxolin with it yesterday, like sheeting on the side of a building. Worked perfectly, no problem. Plasterboard, things like that. Gets used a lot. So that's all the tools on that side. This side, metal file. This gets used surprisingly quite a lot. Not with this bit, which it should be used for, or this bit. They're two different grains. That's more of a softer one, that's a coarser one. I use this one under here. It comes with this excellent edge under there. You can barely see it, but you can actually, if you need to, if you haven't got a hacksaw or something like that, you can actually cut metal with that quite well, or plastic, anything of that nature. So that's a really handy tool. Then there's just a little flathead in there, terminal I would call that, so you can use that on terminal screws, stuff of that nature. Phillips head, I've also used it on posi screws, it works fine. You know, obviously you have your actual tools to do jobs with, but like I say, if you're up ladders or if your tool bag's in another room, something like that, you just whack this out, and that happens a lot, I find. You whack this out and use it. Like the pliers I will use over my main pliers at the minute, but these are just backups, and you've got it on your belt all the time. It does come in really useful. Then you've got the oar here, which I use for a lot of things, to be honest, punching holes in, stuff like that. Obviously in the woods it's excellent if you needed to repair your clothes or make something out of leather work, whatever, make some holes in some wood, you name it. And last but not least is the scissors, which I tried to sharpen myself with a sharpener once. That didn't work very well, it actually blunted them, and then I discovered the old wire wool trick, which you just cut some wire wool up with it and it sharpens it really well. So yeah, they're back to their strength now. You can buy spare springs for these if you ever need to. So yeah, that's all the tools. I mean, I did have other than the case, I did have another problem with this, which was getting these out became a nightmare, and they became really stiff, and they were pretty stiff from day one, to be honest. They were better when I first got it, but they started to get really stiff. I mean, you got your nail in there, and you'd, like, if you have short nails like this now, excuse the dirt, if you had short nails like this now, you'd think that you wouldn't be able to do it, you'd have to pull your nail off. So I had to sometimes get a tool in there, like a screwdriver, and bend them out, or a key. That was really annoying, so I put some WD-40 on, and then it got worse with the WD-40, because, which I found out WD-40 is more of a cleaning, rust resistant thing than a lubricator. So as you can see now though, these are lovely and smooth. They're as smooth as they've ever been, and that is due to buying this stuff. Now it's quite expensive. I think it was about £9 for this tiny little pot, and you have to get it off the Victorinox site, or at least I did, but it's well worth it if you want to be able to get the proper use out of your tool and not have to open it with a set of keys or whatever. This stuff is excellent, and it's just a couple of drops you use in here. Put a couple of drops in there, a few drops in there, and then some in the obvious plier places. But yeah, it's an actual, rather than a de-ruster, it's an actual lubricant, especially for this metal and all the rest of it. A couple of drops down there, but it works so good. I've had no problems opening any of these tools. I mean, the ones that used to be the hardest were these smaller ones here, like that. That'd be a nightmare to get out. It just wouldn't come out. It'd be like it was wedged in there. But since I've put the oil on there, I've had no problems whatsoever. So this is well worth investing in. Okay, now I'll do some quick demonstrations of the tools. Okay, this is the multi-tool on tin of tuna. Not as fast as an actual tin opener, granted, but that's because it's not. There we go.